Oh, the video needs it. Well, we don't want to mess up the video.
There you go.
There you go. So anyway, it set up so many other things. This formation is the one I told you earlier. If I ever got back in it, this may be the only formation I ran because we had a lot of success out of this formation right here. You talk about old school, but if you slide the front, when we line up in it, you knew they were trying to stop smash. Well, when they slid the front, we're probably going to get a 2-eye over here and a backer somewhere over the middle that's not used to playing trap. So that's when we'd run the trap back up inside if they shifted the front. And when you get that 2-eye with a 5 over here, option weak becomes much better because now you've got a chance to get that tackle on the linebacker, and that frees that back up to go all the way to the safety. Now you got them. They don't have an answer. They don't have an alley filler anymore. You can account for that alley filler that you can't in a lot of other reasons. So those 3 plays is what really gave people fits out of this formation. Smash is a play that takes a lot of patience. We've talked to a lot of coaching staffs over the years, and they'll play with it and then they'll give up on it. Well, Coach, we just never could get that play to work. You just ain't. But you got to stay with it. And the first time that thing opens up like it's supposed to, man, it's a thing of beauty. That tunnel opens, and it'll open up anywhere from the backside of the center all the way. We're trying to run it over the double team outside or the C gap is where we're in. But the big plays come from down inside. Once that back finally sees it. And the thing about smash, it's a toss sweep, or it's a toss. It's not a sweep. But that's what these people think on the defensive side. You toss that ball, those linebackers, they're human. They're going to run. Man, they're thinking, sweep, we're going to get outside, we're going to play. And that's why you get underneath them a lot. And the backs have to have patience. The back that's getting the ball, he's going to open, get the toss, and we tell him just be patient, slow down. Kind of like the same theory that, the Top Gun theory we were talking earlier on blocking. Not the same theory with this back. Just slow down. We're pulling the backside guard. We're sending our quarterback through, and you just tell them to get behind those 2 guys, and they'll take you to the promised land. You say, golly, Coach, you send your quarterback up in there? We've done it for umpteen years. Not one time over the years have we gotten a quarterback hurt running smash. And we don't want him he doesn't have to get pancakes or be a great blocker. We just tell him to get up in there and get in the way. Just run through somebody. Just run through and help clean that out. So our guard will come through, and they're looking, back inside. Our quarterback runs through. He's looking what's coming outside. And we're down blocking everything else, and you got to have a fullback that can come inside out and pinch and get a good kick block. And I'm sitting here telling you all this. James is going to get up there and draw it all up for you and show you. But we don't care. Our theory was, and Bill brought this, we don't care what you line up in. We don't care. We don't care how many you got up there. We teach the mentality to our kids that smash is going to bail us out of a jam more times than not. If you take the proper step, you stay on path, and you do what you're taught to do, we can run this play against anything. And the beauty of the play is even if they overload here, we got to where we were running it weak a lot too, because again, you get a 5 here and you get those down blocks, you can get a kick here. It's a tight squeeze in there. We could run it out of 2 tights, a tight end, a wing back. Originally, we ran out of the old wing T look. We put that back up there and we toss, and then we got to run it out of the flex, and then we got to running it weak, and then we'd go to 2 tight ends and run it either way. We'd get in heavy and run it. It didn't matter formation-wise. We got to where we could run it out of just about anything that we lined up in, and we could go weak or strong depending on what. It's kind of like Coach talking about counting and looking for an advantage. Well, that's the way we got with smash later on after we'd gotten comfortable with it. If they were going to overplay you strong and give you a soft spot on the weak side, we're just going to toss it weak, hit it a little tighter, and get up in there and get us some tough yards. And our kids' mentality was, in a pinch, Coach, let's run smash, run smash, run smash, run smash. it was good. And I told you the story of the first state championship game when we had the 4th and 1, and you'd say, well, Coach, why didn't you run smash? That particular group, that group of backs wasn't near as good as our 96 kids, and you'll see some of those clips. Those backs were phenomenal at blocking it and running it. Some groups are just better than others. And I just had a little more faith in my quarterback that year because he was the real deal. And he told me he's going to get me a yard. I believed him, and he did. So, but it was definitely a play that we depended on, and it was a money play for us. And we got a lot of mileage out of it, and like I said, it set up a lot of things, a whole lot of things for us. It really set up the weak side option because we ran this play and we ran it well, and people knew that, and they tried to stop it in a lot of different ways. And when they did, we try to find the weak spot in their front, and that's where we'd go with it. So anyway, that's kind of how it developed for us. I'll let James go over the specifics, and yeah, we don't want to mess it.
Here we go. So the best part about running smash, kind of like we talked about yesterday with Coach Piker and I, it's a real easy teaching for us. It doesn't matter, again, if they're in a 50. It doesn't matter if they're running a 4-4. It doesn't matter if they're running a split. It doesn't matter if they're running a bear, 3-3 stack. Does not matter what look we're giving. What look we're getting. Smash allows us, especially early on, to run some stuff and gain confidence while we're still trying to figure out what they're trying to take away from us. The only rule that our offensive linemen, we really give them, is to run the railroad tracks. They do not have a specific man on smash. If you line up, you're a guard and that guy's a shade inside, that does not mean he's your guy. If he crosses your path and he's on the railroad tracks, then he's yours. Same with the tight end. That guy may be a 5, doesn't mean he's yours. You're running your path, and if he crosses your face, then he's yours. So I'll go over just generic rules real quick. I'll let Coach Piker get up here in just a second and talk a little bit about the O-line play, about splits, because our splits are a little bit different. We're going to get in there a little bit tighter. We're going to scoot up to the ball a little bit more. And you say, well, Coach, you're tipping what you're doing. A guy in this room taught me a long time ago, never give the defense too much credit. And if they're smart enough to pick that up, relay it to the kids, and then still stop us, then they're probably just a better football team than us. So, again, it may be a tendency, it may be a tip, but at the end of the day, they still got to stop it. And so for us, smash again, simple rules. For our center over, doesn't matter if it's a 2-man surface, 3-man surface, or a 4-man surface, they are literally blocking down. And you say, well, what does down mean? Depending on who you talk to, some people say down block is the easiest block in football. Some people will argue that it's the hardest block in football. But for our kids, it is understanding taking a down step and then literally following that path, not coming off of that path. The first thing that crosses your head, again, is who they're going to pick up. Okay? Our running backs rules, if it's a 2 to 3-man surface, they're involved in the down block. Our running back is, and excuse my scratch, I'm a left-handed drawer. I think I'm the first lefty all weekend, so sometimes I get a little bit crooked with my circles. But if it's a 2 or 3-man surface, he's involved in it. If we go to a 4-man surface, he's going to either bubble or flare. We just don't like to add that 5th guy. We like to flare just to try to get something for the defense to kind of soften them up a little bit. So he's going to get involved with everything inside. And again, his rules are the exact same. He does not have a man. He has an area. He's going to take his path with the tackle or with the tight end. And then eventually we tell that kid by your 3rd step, if you're not engaged, then you're going to come off to the 2nd level and you're looking for backside linebacker. So if nothing is here, he's not locked on, he's going to come off and now look for any type of backside linebacker scrapage right there. All right, but we tell them you can't come off too soon because the way to stop this, the way to what teams do to try to defend this is they'll spin linebackers. They fight pressure and they'll spin. And so a lot of times the guy will spin off and now he's sitting in the hole because we came off to the second level too quick. So it's very important to stay on path, stay on your track, and look for that, because either your tight end or your running back is the guy that kind of washes everything down and finishes everything inside. So again, I'll let Coach Piker talk a little bit more about their path and their splits and all that. Our backside guard, we teach a skip pull, but there's 1,000 different ways you can pull. The reason we skip pull is because we feel like it helps our guards keep their shoulders square. And we feel like that's a key coaching point for our kids, because if we're running here, we're not athletic enough to run this way, turn, and find the hole. So we got to be able to keep our shoulders square, find it, and then accelerate through the hole. So we're going to skip pull back, work down the line of scrimmage, and then as soon as that butt of that end man clears, that's where the guard should be inserting. So he's trying to hug the butt of whoever the down man is, whether it's the tackle, tight end, or running back. Again, he's coming right off the butt, and his eyes are looking inside. All right, and that's probably one of the things we struggle with. We had a sophomore 2 years ago that we just could not get his eyes to come back inside. He wanted to look outside, wanted to look outside, wanted to look outside, and we ended up, leaving a guy free in the hole because he just couldn't train his eyes enough to get inside. But we finally got him fixed as a sophomore, and he was pretty good at it right there. So he's looking at inside. Our quarterback is going to reverse out. And I was taught at a very early age, we don't tell him to toss it in a bucket or don't step in the bucket. We had a coach that got up there one time and said something about stepping in a bucket, and I thought my dad was about to run him off. So we don't use the term step in a bucket or throw. He's just going to reverse out. And the way I teach it, coaching quarterbacks, it's just a 3-step process. So it's 1, 2, and now on my 3rd step, my shoulders should be square to the line of scrimmage, and I'm trying to turn inside with the guard. That first step, they've got to be able to get off the line because we are, again, skip pulling that backside guard. So he's going to step off, open 1, 2 on the toss, and now 3, he should be eyes back inside right there, and he should be turning with the guard. And now we said our guard's looking inside, and our quarterback now is looking outside. All right? And one of the key coaching points for our quarterbacks on this play is that I tell them to throw a dead pitch just over the butt of that fullback. So that fullback's down in his stance right there. I literally tell the quarterback, imagine he's got a basketball goal sitting on his butt and you're just trying to toss it in that goal. All right? Where we get in trouble is when our quarterbacks start pitching the ball wide, and now we're having to reach for the ball and now turn our shoulders to get back square. So we want that running back to catch the ball and heading downhill. So we try to teach them to throw it right over the butt of that fullback. That way our running back can catch that thing, get his shoulders square, and head downhill. Our running backs, what we teach them on option, we're going through the heels of our fullback. All right? Any type of option, rocket, anything like that, we're going through the heels of the fullback. On smash, we cheat them back a little bit. We cheat them back and we cheat them out. And the reason for that, again, the play is not designed to go outside. The play is designed to head downhill. So I want their shoulders square heading downhill when they catch the ball. So we're going to cheat them back a little bit in their first step. Their first step is going to be more of a drop step to open their hips. All right, and now they're going to go on that option path, but by their 3rd step, they should be squaring up their shoulders. And again, that's why we teach that dead pitch over the fullback, so now he can catch it, and his shoulders, again, should now be heading downhill. All right, and so he's going to take a little drop step, get a little bit deeper with his motion, and it should look something like that. Okay, I know sometimes it's hard to make it look exactly like you want on huddle, but he should be, again, shoulder square, heading downhill. And this is probably the hardest thing we ask our fullbacks to do. And I could talk for an hour on this because it's the most important. This is, in my opinion, the block that makes the play. Okay, and our fullback. Okay, our fullback is going to run what we call a banana path. All right, he's going to banana path inside out, and he is kicking the first thing on outside the hip of that running back. All right, he's blocking the first thing outside the hip of that running back. Could be the 9 technique sitting out there. Could be the 6 technique. Could be a 5 technique. Again, we tell them if you can get underneath that guy, get underneath it. The more guys we can get underneath people, the better chance we have to open up a hole inside. So if we can get all the way underneath the 5 with our running back and we kick the 5, it's going to be a really There we go. So we're telling him inside out, and I've taught it 10 different ways because every kid's different, and some kids are more analytical than others. Some kids are, they are whatever you tell them they're going to do. But what I tell them is I tell them to take that play side foot and point it to the inside foot of that guard. So that first step should be at the inside foot of that guard. That gets me into the line of scrimmage. That's where the banana path comes from. A lot of them want to just take off at the guy. Well, if you take off at the guy, he's going to cross your face and spill it, and now we're going to get blown up with our guard and quarterback, and we don't have a play. He's got to get inside out on that end man on the line of scrimmage, whoever it is. So he's got to get into the line of scrimmage with that first step. And now as he attacks the line of scrimmage, he is now working down flat through the line of scrimmage. Again, as that running back or whoever is going down the line, he should be coming off. I think it was Coach Whitaker yesterday, you got to take the air out of it. There should be no air between the butt of your end man and your fullback. Again, if that outside linebacker, that defensive end, whoever it is, if he crosses our face and spills it, now our guard's getting blown up, now our quarterback's getting blown up, and there goes the play. So that's the hardest thing we ask our fullbacks to do. And some guys are really, really good at it. We got a sophomore this year that was really good at this block. He seeked out running this play. He wanted to run this play. Our fullback that rushed for 1,500 yards was very average at this block. He didn't see it as well as the other kid did. So, again, this is the hardest thing we'll ask them to do. But if you got one that can do it, and you'll see the clips here in a second, 99% of the big plays on Smash, we got a great kick out. And so, again, that's key. Our backside tackle is just going to gap hinge. He's going to step to protect to help the center block him back, and then he's just going to make sure we don't get run down from the backside. I know back in the Louisville days, they used to pull guard tackle a little bit. We haven't really toyed much with that, but, again, we gap hinge it on the backside. So, again, the running backs ask, well, where's the cut? Where's the play going to happen at? The play can happen straight up the gut. It can hit backside, or it can hit play side. I don't know where it's going to happen. A lot of that's going to depend on what the defense is doing. If they over pursue, the cutback's there, and that's where the big play comes from. If they're sitting in there tight, we can end up bouncing it, and we can look for it outside.
Block a 3 or get underneath that 3, that's fine, because if we get a squeeze out of that guy, it sets up the block for the next guy. You know, that's the whole beauty of the play. But that 6, 9, whatever, if it gets too tight in there, we had a tag call or play call, we'd go to slam. And slam now told our tight end, you take this guy, wing back, you come underneath the tight end, and now we freed that fullback up to lead through. That was just a variation off that play, but it's a solid. We're looking for a solid push.
And when he says solid, Coach Petrosky, I heard him say this 1,000 times as a little kid, and it took me a while to figure out what he was talking about. But he always said penetration kills the play. Penetration kills the play. Penetration kills the play. And so, that's the one thing we teach our kids. Any type of penetration knocks us off track. And so we're trying to get our hat across the defender's hat. If we lock on, we're going to take that inside hand and be heavy with it and just try to drive him down. But we cannot allow them to take a step across our face. And so Coach Piker is going to pull up some drill work with them in the offensive line. And the way it was explained to me whenever I first got into coaching on the offensive line play. If I took a rope and tied it around our offensive linemen's necks, and I stood off to the side and I yanked that rope, every single one of their heads should turn in unison. If you've got one head going this way and one head going that way, that's where the penetration comes from. So everybody's got to take the exact step. Everybody's head's got to be in the exact same place, because if you don't, again, you're opening up holes for the penetration to come through. So, again, that's kind of how it was described to me getting into it, is just take that rope, and when the ball is snapped, pull it, and everybody should be turned running that way. So, you got the practice footage? And so we're 3-foot splits across the board on all of our option stuff. On smash, we get in there 1 foot. On our jet game, we get in there 1 foot. On our quick game, we get on there 1 foot. On our wedge stuff, we get in there 1 foot, foot to foot. So, it's not like the only time we get tight, we're running this play. But the one thing that I noticed this year, and I'll let Coach Piker talk about it more, was our signaling stuff. We line up in 3-foot splits, but when we signaled smash, you literally saw our kids taking steps in. And nobody ever really adjusted to it. I mean, you could literally from the stands be able to, well, here comes the tunnel sweep again because their linemen are getting in there tight. But again, nobody ever made any type of adjustments. They just tightened down a little bit with us. So.
And we usually tell them right when we install it. And the older guys did a good job picking it up, and then they'll coach up the younger guys. But when they're tight and their splits down, say maybe half-foot splits, maybe a little bit tighter, the one guy that split might be a little bit wider, just the sake that he has to pull and he needs kind of a little bit more width to get around, would be that backside guard. So if he's getting too tight and hitting the quarterback when he reverses out to pitch it, you might tell that backside guard to widen out just a little bit for that little extra time, that little extra width, so he's not running into the quarterback when he goes to pull. So about half-foot splits up front. And then we operate with levels on the offensive line, and it's something I kind of got from my spread days, where your different levels are different depths off the ball. So level 3 for us would be our base depth off the ball. The guard's toes should align 2 inches behind the heels of the center. We want to try and get as far back as we possibly can, so we can get kind of a running start when we trade the hand, come off the line, and really tattoo that defensive line in front of us. Level 2 would be guard's toes right at the heels of the center, and then level 1 would be the guard's toes lined up with the instep of the center. So when we run smash, we tell them want to come in and move up. So they'll go half-foot splits, and we'll tell them level 1 so that they're up closer to the ball. And the whole point is, like Coach said earlier, the biggest thing that kills smash is penetration. So you want to close the gaps, move up farther, because if you find, one of the troubles, one of the issues we had last year with that depth off the ball and doing that for the first time, I think since you've been there, Coach Gage, was we had some issues with down blocking and some issues with base blocking because we were so far off the ball that it was a lot more time, a lot more steps to get to the defensive line. So we adjusted to the level system. So anytime we're going to primarily down block, or anytime we're going to primarily base block up front, we want to move up to either level 1 or level 2. So that's just a couple of coaching points. And like Gage said, when we'd go no huddle and we'd operate from the line, it's real obvious when the line's going to change that, when we're going to run smash, because they'll bring their splits a little bit tighter. But going into this year is going to give us the opportunity to run more things off of it and add on to it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So one of the things with the offensive line, their first step, I want to tell them that you must gain ground with the first step. So all of their first steps, play side tackle, play side guard, and the center should really resemble each other. So they don't want to step underneath themselves. They want to gain ground with that first step, and they want that first step as flat as possible and as parallel to the line of scrimmage as possible. So kind of took this drill from Navy, and they call it either low bag drive or heavy bag drive, And one of the purposes, and I really like it because one of the issues we had early on with Smash was when those offensive linemen in that stance, they go to take that flat step down the line of scrimmage. They have a tendency, because they're not trading the hand, they're not going forward flat back, they have a tendency to raise up out of their stance with getting their shoulders high. So really liked the idea from Navy of using that heavy bag. It forces them to keep their shoulders down while they're taking that first step. So we do the same drill for our base blocks, whether we want to jab step with the inside foot and come out, or whether we want to step with the foot to the man first. And then we added this on about halfway through the season. All they're doing is taking their first step on smash as flat as they can get down the line of scrimmage, bringing that second one to get your base wider, get square, and now you're driving whatever crosses your face straight down the line of scrimmage. So
you can see like right here, this is our backup center. And he takes a really bad first step. You can see from here, he steps with the wrong foot. He kind of pivots off that left foot right there and just turns. He's taken now 2 steps and hadn't gained any ground.
This guy right here, the guard, this was the guard that Coach Gage was talking about earlier, the sophomore. I believe that's out here. He does a really good job. He's got good hips and is able to open up and get flat. Yeah, that's out here. And his first steps are generally really, really good. So this would be him as the play side guard on 8 or 9 smash. And so what we'll do is we'll run through each group, the 1s, the 2s, the 3s. They'll do it one time to the right, and then we'll come back. I went too far.
I was pressing next on.
Okay. We'll do it one time going each way, and then that way all the linemen, because we want it to be to the point where a lineman can't just play the left side or play the right side, so they'll be able to get in both stances, right side and left side, and then they'll be familiar with how to take that first step, either going to their right or going to their left on 8 or 9 smash. So that's kind of how we work and drill the first step on smash, how we work on the drive phase after we make contact, and then the next look. I'm a big believer in creating, not necessarily just taking drills from videos you've seen, but taking actual game scenarios and trying to mimic them as closely as possible in practice. And so what we've done in practice is we've recreated the scenario where we're going to have the backside guard and the backside tackle, and we're going to work on the backside guard, his skip pull or crow hop or whatever you want to call it, working on him getting just enough depth and enough width. You'll see if it's zoomed out a little bit more. I think I've got better tape here, yeah. So you'll notice this bag here kind of set at a diagonal right there. One of the things when we met about it in the off season, Coach Gage, Coach Petrosky talked about the butt line of the offensive, looking at the butt line, finding the butt line, and being tight on the butt line of those front side offensive linemen on the down block. So to kind of create that same deal, because the biggest thing, the hardest part I've found with teaching that backside guard when he pulls is they always end up getting way too wide, and it should really be the one step, pressing off the inside foot, getting the crow hop, and then the second step they should be pressing off that inside foot and getting downhill right away. But they'll have a tendency to kind of continue out way too far, and so there's a lot of daylight between that pulling guard when he finally hits the gap and works upfield and the butt line of the guys blocking back. So we'll put the bag right here kind of close to a line right here so that they are constricted. They have to be right off the edge of that bag and right inside of the line so that they're not continuing to go. We want them to get downhill, and they want to be, we talk about how that guard should be able to use his outside hand, and he should be able to slap the outside butt cheek of the last man on the line when he gets north and south. So one of the things we implemented, Coach Gage talked about having a hard time getting guards to look backside. One of the things that happens when you see the clips of the play, like Coach Gage talked about, that kind of almost toss, that kind of sweep action, a lot of times they'll get linebackers and DBs to flow real hard outside. Well, when that happens, the guard thinks that the linebacker that's in front of him is his man. So when he pulls out and that backside linebacker flows over the top, his eyes will go outside and he'll miss somebody that's coming down or coming backside, whether it be a backside support player or anything like that. So what we institute is we'll have a coach stand here, and so when that guard comes around, his eyes have to flash back, and you'll flash up a number on one hand, and that guard has to call out the number that you got in the hand just to continue working, getting your eyes backside. Kind of an idea I got from Harding, because when they talk about cracking and things like that, they'll have coaches stand there as if they're the safety, and they'll hold up a number so that wide receiver is going to call out the number to know that their eyes are in the right place every single time. So just a couple drills. We'll work this. Both of these, typically when we do our power days on Tuesdays, so when we go indie, obviously we want to do indie drills. They're going to prepare us for what we're going to run that day in practice, so we'll run these every Tuesday. And the kids have gotten pretty good. All you always say is backside smash drill or a low back drive, and they're pretty good at it. And the good thing about this is you set it up on two different sides, and the kids, they'll get a rep here, and then they immediately go to the other side, get a rep on the other side, and then, inevitably the numbers are not the same, not right or not even, so you have more guards than tackles or vice versa. And so what'll happen is they'll start falling in, and you'll get guys that'll get reps at tackle, and then they'll get a rep at guard, and it's a really good drill, and we get a lot of reps really, really quick, and I think it's really helped with our gap hinge and really helped with the guards being tight on that pull and getting their eyes backside. So that's the O-line side. So.
I got this one. Y'all got to use it, so I get to use it now. Oh, I'm on yours. I'm not. Yeah. Where's the breakdown from this year? There we go. There we go. All right. Here we go.
And as Coach Gage started showing the clips, and like Coach Gage started about, it doesn't always hit real well at the beginning, and I kind of compare it to if you ever worked with the spread and run a lot of inside zone. The first times you run inside zone all camp, it never was good. No matter what year, no matter how experienced your kids are. But you rep it, the kids understand the angles, the linemen have chemistry, the running backs understand the cut better, they start to see it better. That's the same exact thing with smash. You gotta rep it, and then everything will start to put together. And like Coach said earlier, that just starts.
And again, there's a lot of things that we can coach off of. We dabbled in with the I formation stuff this year and ran some smash out of it. I know we've run it from the wing before. We've run it from split. Again, it just takes time. This is a sophomore, junior running back, first ever varsity game. You can tell he's getting lined up late, probably an illegal motion. But again, you'll see from the end zone angle. Again, we get first game of the year. We're sloppy. But you can see how tight we are. And so again, right here, our left running back, he kind of falls, stumbles, but you can see his first step, he picks it up and puts it right back down. And so where our left tackle is gaining ground, our left running back is not, and now that guy's got a hat in the hole. And so he's got to be better with this first step. Again, he was a 3-year starter for us. He was just first game, I think it was first series of the year. A little bit antsy. But again, he ends up actually getting the guy blocked and getting him washed down. He's just better than the guy. But again, we get our guard and our quarterback around clean. They should be hip to hip just like that going through the hole. And what we tell our running backs is if you'll follow your guard and quarterback, they'll take you where you need to go. If your guard and quarterback are in the hole hip to hip, usually we've got a good play about to happen. And so, again, you can see the cut. There's a 3-way cut here. He could go straight ahead. Again, first game, he's not sure what he's doing. He could bounce it play side, or he could bounce it backside right there. Just kind of runs into somebody. But again, he didn't get enough depth on his first step, on his drop. Again, you can see from this angle, he's way too tight. And you'll see here in just a second, we run it again. From the eye, just old wing formation is all it is. Again, still first game of the year. We're sloppy. We're ugly. Terrible by him. Pretty good job by our tight end and our tackle here. And here's the coaching point I would tell you. Your tight end gets underneath it, and that guy's on the outside of him. Your running back should be finishing that block off right there. He should have his hand in that guy's rib, washing him down. If that guy's going to make contact here and allow you to get to his ribs, you should drive that hand right into his ribs and wash that thing down. And if you got a good tight end or you got a really physical running back, you'll see the whole line of scrimmage just move by that guy. And so that's the block that we're looking for. Again, not a great job by him early in the season. We're supposed to be at 6 in the eye. His toes are at 5. And you'll see how fast he hits it, where if he's a little bit more patient, you'll see from the end zone, if he's a little bit more patient, we get a wash. Again, not great. First game of the year. This kid ended up being on JV the rest of the year. We moved him up because we knew he maybe had a chance to play this week. We were a little shorthanded. Not a great block, allows the guy to penetrate, but gets enough of them to get a wash. We get a kick by our fullback, and now we're up inside. We got a guard, quarterback, and our running back, as you can see, getting off to the second level right there. If he's a little bit more patient and not as tight in his splits, you can see the cut right there where it's about to happen. And we'll show some old Louisville clips here in a minute. The big play comes from that cut right there. But the tricky part is the first time they hit it, they're going to want to hit it every single time. And it's not always there. The bend back is not always there. You can see it, he sees it late, but that's after he stumbles and trips and finally gets his eyes up. Well, by that point, he's getting tackled. So let's go. All right, a few of our bigger plays this year. Again, this was week 3, same kid, other side. He gets a little bit deeper now. You can tell the difference. He's getting his shoulders square on that third step, catching it. Early in the season, he was right behind the quarterback catching it. Now he's got a little bit of depth between him, which now allows him to find that backside cut, make one guy miss. I had coaches in the box going, oh, what's this kid doing? Why is he I'm completely fine with this. Lower your shoulder, finish the run. That goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, that toughness mentality. We tell our kids anytime we get tackled, we want to get tackled falling forward. So, could he have outran him for another 5-10 yards? Maybe. But you know what? He saw contact, seeked it out, took his shoulder into the guy. And this was early in the game, I think late in the second half. So just one of those mentality plays again. You see the kick by the fullback there, how tight he is to the line of scrimmage. So he gets into the line of scrimmage and then works flat. And so you can tell him, see, what I always try to tell him is take that inside shoulder. So, for instance, if we're going 8 smash, take that right shoulder to that guy's inside hip. And I'm trying to get down into his hip with my shoulder and then physically dig him out. And so you can see the kick right there. You got a quarterback and guard in the hole clean. Guard looking for something to work with right there. Again, make a guy miss on the backside cut and then go be a football player after that. That's against Beaumont United, and I don't want to run a 4x1 against them. They had a lot of speed. The film kind of picks it up late, but again, you can just see right now inside lane right there. That's what we're looking for, right? We got 3 guys sitting in a hole in an area to run behind it. This was against Shadow Creek. I'd like to say this was against their starters, but this is against their backups late in the game. You can see this was later in the year, so a much better job right here by 34. He was stumbling early in the season, not sure what he was, his first step. Way better first step. Again, we worked it. He's hip to hip with that tackle going through. This is the sophomore fullback that we said is pretty good at blocking this. You see he kind of adjusts himself. He starts to get a little wide and then fills it. And as he goes, he adjusts and ends up, that 4 technique right there is who we end up kicking out. And you'll see just by being able to kick that 4 technique right there, we get our guard inside. Our quarterback's a little wide with his turn, but now we've got an inside lane to run in. They can run too. So this picks up late. You can see they're still setting the chains. We talked yesterday. The power game allows us to go tempo. We give a money, money, money call. We're lining up and we're running 8 smash. If we have a tight end in the game, we're lining up in a right formation. If we don't have a tight end in the game, we're running it out of a split formation. That's as simple as we can make it for our kids. But if we see somebody getting up slow off the ball, maybe we just gashed them for a big play and we're trying to get some more tempo, all we've got to do is holler money, money, money from the sideline, and we line up and we're running smash again. And that can change week to week, but 90% of the time, if we're calling money, 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 we're running 8 smash. We don't do it a whole lot. But we feel like we've got it in the package for us just to get on the ball and go. Again, it gives us an opportunity, to catch them off guard. Not a great block by the fullback, but again, it doesn't have to be. He's inside out, so technically he's doing his job. You got a quarterback and a guard sitting in the hole. Again, 5'5", 140-pound running back doing a heck of a job right there. Again, leverage, just that physical mentality, building that wall. You got a quarterback on a body. Guard's eyes are looking inside. There's the backside cut. Every now and then, Coach Kubiak, you said get you one of those guys. We had one, and he was our B-back, and every now and then we put him in the eye and just toss him the ball and say, go be a football player. We don't coach this. We don't tell them to ever bounce. We tell them if you ever bounce it, it's on your own because we're literally kicking out that way. But when you got one that can bounce it, run around everybody, and still get you 25 yards, then you just tap them on the butt and tell them good play. So this is Pearland Dawson late in the year. This was first play of the game. We jokingly were talking about it, Coach Piker and I, the week before about doing the Michigan Centipede. And I said, why not? It's last game of the year. Let's do it. So we put it in. And so first play of the game, we called it Red Panda because our center at one point put both hands up to let us know that they were in double shades, and he looked like a big panda bear. So we called the play Red Panda. You can see it up there, but it was just the centipede. We broke out, and we tempoed into smash right here, first play of the game. And so, again, first play of the game, don't know what they're going to give us. Let's go at them a little bit, set the tone. Again, this kid, we got smart as the year went on and said instead of giving him the ball 15 times a game, let's give him 25 times a game because we only get him so much, and it makes a play. So this is the last clip I'll show of us, and then I'll put some Louisville stuff on. And again, the reason we went to the eye a little bit is to help our timing out. But, my dad and them, they used to run it from the wing a whole lot, and there's nothing really different. We just kind of, from the eye, we just tell them to take a jab step, patient step, timing step, whatever you want to call it. I don't like calling it a jab step because they want to get that real big, long lunge. So we just call it a timing step. So I just step, and now my shoulders are staying square, and that should help you on the timing. So you can see the running back right there just takes a little tiny jab step, gets inside, and then there's the backside cut. So, second game of the year, number 9, not bad. You can see he's trying to stay hip to hip. We've been coaching it. We're in tackle over here. He should, if his eyes are up, he should be putting his hand right in the rib of that defensive tackle right there and helping that offensive tackle wash that guy down. We get a kick by our fullback. His head's in a bad position. His head's outside. But what I like about it is he knocks the guy back. He's your true flex bone fullback. He's not going to be a 1,500-yard rusher, but he's a kid that he'll get you 4 yards, and then he'll go do this when you ask him to. And then again, just a great cut by the running back right there, seeing that backside cut. Teams want to start over pursuing and running, then it just opens up lanes on the backside. But you see you got offensive linemen downfield on bodies, and that's one thing that we take pride on is we may not block them, but we can at least try to go get in their way. And so anytime we can have a big guy on a guy downfield, like that, we feel like we got a chance for a good play. Again, this kid's a sophomore right here, taking his steps, 1, 2, 3, nothing's there, head to the backside linebacker. So stay on that railroad track until that third step, and if you're not engaged, then now you can go to the next side. So This was actually videoed, I think, on a 16 millimeter. I think that's how old this film was. Coach Shue, is that what you call it, a 16 millimeter? Huh? So that's why it's not HD. Yeah, the HD button. I think the HD is on. That's just what you got back then. So, but you can see this is from a wing here, and I don't know what was y'all's reason for towing in the wing. I mean, did y'all have a specific reason, or was it just for smash? Good job by the fullback right there. All right, you can see that how low he is into that guy's hip, shoulder, boom, right there. You got guard, quarterback. Probably should have stayed inside, but when you can do that and make a guy miss, then you're okay bouncing it. But you can see a great job by the tight end right there. Really good job by the tight end, washing it down. Running back comes off on the backside linebacker. Again, just two guys in the hole with a guy following is always a good play. So this is they're pulling guard and tackle here. We don't toy with that, and y'all didn't do it a whole lot back in the day. Really good job by the wing back. You can see this tight end kind of gets caught up in kind of gets smoked right there, kind of gets knocked off his path. But that guy's engaged, and when that guy's engaged, that's allowing that running back now a free shot on him to wash it down. Boom, right there, washes it, and then opens up that hole for your quarterback and guard to get through. This is just one long cut up, so I've got to be careful. I can't press next. And sometimes this happens. Fullback, you better get ready. You get smoked, but at least this guy doesn't make the play. The guy wants to run up the field. Just be ready for it. Again, a great job by the wing back right here. Watch him wash this guy down. Boom. And that right there just frees up the guard and quarterback to come through. Looks a little bit different with the Louisville kids running it back in the day. There's a bunch of people on line of scrimmage right there in their Coach Shue. That Haltom? But again, great play against the 10-1. If they're going to put everybody up on the line of scrimmage, the 6-1, the 5-3, whatever, if you break the first line, there's nothing there, you know. But this is Coach Petrosky was telling us, you better get your eyes around if you're a guard, all right, because sometimes they bring the punch to us. But his guy doesn't make the play. That's what he'll tell the coach. I got my guy. Look at the receivers downfield throwing. Huh? I wish we could do that still. You got three guys outside of the kick. This was against Colleen Ellison, I believe, which they were pretty good back in the day. Great job by the running back right here helping the tight end out. You can see the wing back coming down. The tight end, again, gets held up a little bit, but you see him get his hands on and just finish that guy, which now allows your guard to wrap around and find that linebacker. This was the state championship game. I act like I was a player on this team. I was 9 years old on the sideline, running, chasing T's around. But you can see the biggest thing is those running backs are catching the ball going downhill. Their shoulders are square and they're heading downhill. They're not running sideways. They're not having to, and so the pitch again from the quarterback is important to put it right there because again we don't want them shoulders to the sideline. We want their shoulders heading downhill. So that's why that pitch has got to be consistent. Some variations, and he can talk more variations with you, but walking a tight end. So that would just be, in our old terminology, that would just be right walk, and then we'd be running 9 smash, and that was a built-in shift with that running back. If we walked to it, he was going to go down into that wing. Great job by him again. Tight end gets underneath that end. Running back finishes him off. Guard, quarterback get around, get a kick, and there's the big play. The reason we used to walk the tight end a bunch is teams declare that strength to your tight end. At the smaller school level, big school, doesn't matter. They're going to probably put their best defensive guy on the tight end if you're using one a bunch. And so for us, it allowed us to let them declare the defense and then us try to run away from it. So walking a tight end is a super, super simple adjustment for us. There's a look, a weak side smash to the 2-man surface. So you can see the difference. We're putting our toe on his heel when we run smash. They're a little bit wider here, and they didn't run as much true flex back in the day. But we go our toe on the heel of that end man. So you can see he still washes it, but you can see the penetration right there by that guy. Who is that? That end right there. He penetrates enough and hits the shoulder of that pulling guard and kind of knocks him off his track a little bit. But it actually squares his shoulders up. But again, penetration is the number one thing that can kill this play. So you've got the smash pass off of it. You got the smash reverse. There's a lot of different variations that you can run off of this. We scored on the smash pass this year. We ran smash reverse, I think, 2 or 3 times for about average 15 yards. They probably ran smash reverse way more than we did, and he'll be the one to tell you it was actually a part of their offense. It wasn't a true reverse. It was part of what they were trying to do. Here's a little waggle off of it to the backside wing. I think this is reverse right here. No, that's shift. So this is that eye candy, Kubiak, you were talking about earlier. We're just trying to get them out of there. Just get their eyes somewhere else. We can motion that guy strong to try to soften the edge. You can motion him weak just to get eyes of linebackers and safeties going the opposite direction. There's the waggle again. Coach Shue was the defensive coordinator out there. You were head coach that year. Yeah, you're head football coach there. You got one of those guys, just throw it up. That's what Rulo was saying earlier. There's the backside cut. So one thing that teams will try to do to this, they'll just try to start submarining. And they'll submarine, and if they start submarining, then we'll run something else because you can't do anything when you're on the ground. So there's the smash reverse right there. Get you a guard that can do that. Against John Tyler. They could run a little bit. Still can. again, if they're going to play everybody up at the line of scrimmage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in the box, if you can break it, you got a chance for a big play. Again, 4 guys to the play side on the line of scrimmage, and all it takes is that one little cut right there, and there's nothing left.
See right here, look at that outside backer. Look at them running. They're running hard. They're thinking sweet. And this is the beauty of this play. And all of a sudden, that inside cut happens. It's just a real hard play to be. It can be ugly sometimes.
So there you see the motion right there. Takes the safety out of the box. This guy's looking, softens him up a little bit, and there it makes the kick a little bit easier. Just softens it up inside. This is to the 4-man surface. Great job by the tight end right here, getting low leverage. As Kirk Herbstreit will call it, the wing tee right there. So, as you can see, I mean, it's a play that's been ran since the early 90s, I know for sure, because that's the first time I'd heard it. But we still run it a lot. We probably, if you ask my dad, we don't run it enough. But I think we average running it right at 9 or 10 times a game this year. And we just feel like that's a play that we're going to continue to work on. But it's a play that your kids, the more they run it, the more comfortable they get it, especially your running backs. They start understanding where the cut is and all that good stuff. The fullbacks, they start understanding the path they've got to take. But once it comes together, it's one of the prettiest plays in football. So, yeah.
You see this play at every level. I've seen it on Saturday. I've seen it on Sunday. I've seen quarterbacks run it. I've seen it on counter look, keep off of it. LSU had it over the years.
So when I was at S&S, my second year, we evolved to the gun pistol stuff, and the one thing it kind of took away was the capability of running smash. How do we run smash? How do we run smash? Well, this guy was our best football player, and there's a reason we went to the pistol to try to get him just off the line at the 3A Division II level. If you got a guy, you got a chance, and he was our guy. So we went to the pistol, and so we kept saying, how can we run smash? How can we run smash? How can we run smash? And so we just started cheating our running back in a little bit, and so we still went option motion to try to get movement. So now we're still down, down, down. We would kick with that guy, still wrap, and now we would just open and show mesh, and now he's leading through looking outside, and our quarterback just followed. So when we installed that at S&S, that added a whole new dimension to the game because he was already a really good downhill runner off the jet game and all that stuff. But that just everything looked like option, and so you got a lot of full flow, and now you got him heading who was our best player. Heading downhill inside. And so that was the way we kind of ran it from the gun. We got in a little wildcat package and ran it kind of out of a stack look. Just kind of we run the counter, we ran the jet, we ran smash, we ran blast. Just a little package we put together. So we try to get creative on different ways to run it. But the best part about it is up front, the blocking doesn't change. And we just got to find a way to get a second guy in the hole and to just figure out who we want to run it. But it's a play that I'll run the rest of my career. And like anything, you'll run it more certain years than other years. Sometimes you got that back that really understands it. Sometimes you just don't. It's just like mid-triple versus mid-double, whatever it may be. But the beautiful part about that play is it does not matter what defense you're seeing. You can run it against anything. So, we've –
Those defensive coaches,
it's a play that you got to trust, and you got to, like he said, multiple people have come and talked about it, wanting to do it. You got to commit to it. And once you commit to it and find a way to install it into your practice, it's a really, really good play. Really, really good play.
Tough play.
It is.
Football play.
So, guys, appreciate y'all coming. Man, this has been a blast. We're going to do it again next year. We're going to keep this thing going. You know, we when we talked about doing this, we didn't know what we were going to get. We didn't know if it was going to be a bust or what. But having guys from the north come from Illinois to Tennessee to Missouri, El Paso, it's been phenomenal. Louisiana, it's been phenomenal. So we'll do it again next year. And yep, Dallas, yeah. So we'll do it again next year, and we look forward to having you guys. So y'all be safe going home. If there's anything we can do to help, obviously you guys know this. We're here to help each other out. And, you know, I hope you guys have a lot of success next year with whatever you're running and however you run it. So if we can do anything to help you guys out, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So again, thank y'all.